Isn't it about time for somebody's favorite radio program?
Oh, look at it roll. Now we can watch Jackie Gleason while we eat.
Holy Testicle Tuesday
was the most important day of your life. But for me,
it was Tuesday.
It was Tuesday.
Wyatt and Gary were a little unpopular, so they decided to do a little something about it.
She's alive! Alive!
I'm going to show you guys the time of your life.
It was the biggest mistake they ever made, and the best thing that ever happened to them.
It's purely sexual.
Weird Science, rated PG-13. Now at select theaters. Check newspapers.
It's on the porch. Hang on, I'm a little tied up at the moment.
I have a surprise for you.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Greetings and salutations. I think I did it right. I don't know. Now it's your turn, Ironcaster, because you're in charge.
Hello, one and all. Welcome to Talk Hard for this week. As we decided to go a little back to the past, get a little weird with y'all. In fact, we're gonna get a little scientific as we delve into one of those classic '80s movies. I believe this is part of that Rat Pack essential grouping of all the high school coming of age films. While we were talking weird science.
Yeah, but this one has Robert Downey Jr. when he's like 20.
No, it's Robert Downey. Or he wasn't.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr.
Yes, but in the credits he's cited as Robert Downey. He didn't go by the Junior.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
I, of course, my Ironcaster here to apparently run the show and hopefully not run it straight into the ground. And I'm doing pretty good here. It's Tuesday, or as I like to call it, the worst day of the week. Unless, of course, you happen to enjoy Talk Hard.
Or Taco Tuesday. If you're a Taco Tuesday fan, we got Taco Tuesday tonight on Snowdub's channel. So, yeah.
That's right. But with me, as always, is Stone Loki. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm sitting back looking at all the comments going, wow, I never get to see like this side of EV Mux, which I've got to say is bass backwards. So,
that's the unfortunate thing. You get so used to the way StreamYards work. It was nice, but then like they had to go and raise the price, and it was like every one of them, or they had to go and scramble to find just something else that does what that did.
I got lucky. They gave me the old price. Because I was like, no, I'm going to cancel. And they were like, well, we can't give you that price. And so I went to cancel, and then guess what they did? They offered me that price.
Well, if only we were all so lucky. But until then, we'll have to make do with some of these many alternatives. But speaking of alternatives, she may not be Pop, she may not be Squeeka, but she's just as good. In fact, we have with us today LouiseXSparrow. How do you do, madam?
Good evening, guys. Always great to be here with you.
Happy to have you.
Absolutely. I can do that.
But with that said,
Bigger. They've got to be bigger. Project Cambrian, bigger.
It's got to fit the ego. But
what did they say in the movie? Bigger.
You can always do bigger. But with that said, though, we delved into a little bit of weird science, and I guess to start us off the bat, with myself, this is a movie that I didn't come around to until maybe 15 or so years ago. Sort of in that the high school age for me, but the place where I really came to know weird science was the TV show that was based upon it.
I saw this when it came out, so I'd seen the movie before I ever watched the TV show. And honestly, I like the movie better, but that's because the people that are in the movie kind of made the movie. So
this is another one that you guys introduced me to because I don't remember ever seeing it before.
Really, was it not popular over there, or did it just fly under the radar?
Definitely not popular. But I mean, there was a load of movies that I did watch that were more sort of cult classic type films, but I don't remember anyone ever mentioning it or talking about it. So,
well, I guess the question that begs itself would be to ask, what about many of the other classic legendary John Hughes films? Were any of those ever really on your radar?
Can you name some? I'm not good with
Breakfast Club for
directors.
One. Home Alone.
Home Alone, definitely. Breakfast Club's very well known, but it's another one I've never watched. I've actually bought it to watch, but I've never watched it. So no, I don't. Maybe not the early 80s stuff. The later stuff is.
So the thing is, John Hughes is one of these directors who was able to really capture the essence of that sort of coming of age. In fact, a lot of his films tended to fall into essentially one of two categories. You would have the films that were geared at boys and young boys coming of age, and you would have the ones that are geared more towards women. And it would be films like 16 Candles was in that category of the ones for a lot geared at girls. Pretty in Pink. There's been a few other ones as well. I'm more familiar with a lot more of the more boy-centric ones myself.
And a lot of these movies are now considered like racist, that like they should never be made. And these are from the people that had fun making these movies and made a paycheck, in their young career, like Robert Downey Jr., who now turn on these movies and go, "Oh, they should have never been made. We should have never done that." This is what built your career. This is these types of movies got your foot in the door. Why would you turn around and be like, "Oh, that should have never been made"? A lot of the actresses and actors that are in these go back and talk crap about them now, but they wouldn't be where they are today without movies like this.
No, you're absolutely right, because these are those movies that in many ways open the door, because these movies always got to have a wider cast of younger actors, so it was the perfect way for people to come up and people to really catch the spotlight, maybe with a nice little line or two here or there, which could get them into the next gig.
Yeah, I think it's possibly the most dated of the ones that I've watched retroactively, and I think maybe as well there's a difference in experience of American and English coming of age, but we did watch a lot of that stuff. We just sort of accepted it as very American. I don't think it was any kind of ist or phobe or anything. Nobody thought in those terms. Not that it didn't exist, but that when those films were made, they were just having fun. And yeah, you could look at them and say, oh, that's not a term I'd use now or whatever. But they weren't intending harm with any of it. So to be embarrassed about being involved in a classic that is now dated. No, I think they should just embrace it and say, yeah, I wouldn't do it now, but that was a fun time.
You know what? And there's I've complained with some of these other kind of a coming of age '80s films where there's certain things that you look at now, like for example with Real Genius, where that was a film where you had these adults, these adult women that are basically hitting on a kid, which doesn't quite sit right now. Whereas with a movie like this, Lisa is this creation of these two boys, so it in its own way makes sense here. This is that teenage boy dream of getting the total knockout woman who is everything that could be to them.
And they don't know what to do with her either. I don't know if that was, just I know, like Louise brought up, our comedy's different. So like American comedy is different from British comedy. I don't get like the Benny Hill stuff. I just don't. A whole bunch of guys running around like I don't get that. I like Monty Python stuff, but I've got friends that are like, this isn't funny. Like the bunny rabbit thing and Holy Grail, they don't get it. They don't laugh at it. They don't understand it. I think it's funny, but they don't get it. So I can see like a movie like this that has so much This is 80s middle class Americana that is being served up to you in a 2-hour slice. You've got Lisa and you've got these boys and you've got, the punks that are kind of picking on him, but wrapped around that is nothing but 80s middle Americana.
It's that touch in the mall culture where everyone had to be at the mall on the weekends because that was the place to be.
Yeah, it is very much teenage fantasy though, isn't it? And I guess I didn't identify with that. I mean, at that age, I was watching Star Wars. So when I watched, if I'd have watched it back then, I would have been probably saying, well, the science doesn't really make sense, because I was always incredibly critical. So, yeah, I mean, like, I could see it was a fun film, but it's not one that I don't have the nostalgia for it. So, and I don't have that experience either, because so it was very geared towards teenage boys more than I would. Everyone says Star Wars was, but we all watched that.
Well, I saw this at like 96, so it'd have been when it came out whenever it came out on VHS. I saw this because my dad rented it, and we were a big movie house. We always watched movies. Weekends were for watching movies, and I thought she was magic when I was like 7 years old. I was like, oh, they made a magic girl that could do magic. I didn't, get it all the way, but it was interesting enough that I watched it when I was 7 or 8 years old and enjoyed it enough that I kept watching it and came back to it when I got older.
I mean, as for myself, I got the reruns of the TV show that spun out of this from the 90s. And so for me, Lisa was always a blonde. That was what I got to know. And for me, it was just, oh yeah, she's just basically a genie to these boys who can give them whatever they want for about a little bit of time. And then all the hijinks you could kind of have out of that idea. There's a lot of potential to the premise. Enough that they did, I think, 4 seasons.
I didn't know it lasted that long.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure we never got that. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. In fact, when Pop suggested this, I was thinking, isn't that a TV series? And then I looked it up because I'd heard people talk about the series. I might have got me into that more, if you see what I mean. Just it got. I like the idea of it. It was fun, and all we'll go in the computer and we'll make a girl. And these days it's actually not far off, is it? They're making all these AI.
Yeah.
Let's make a girl we can talk to on the internet. It's going there.
How long until you're able to go to a store and be like, okay, this is what I want. This is what I want her to like. This is what I want to have conversations about. This is what I want her to look like. And boom, it's done.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're that far off. I mean, not on the level that she is. Obviously, she is surpassing them somewhat, but yeah.
Let's see, Bill Paxton and Anthony Michael Hall appeared in 2 episodes of Tales from the Crypt. Bill Paxton was in People Are Alike in Brass Hearses, and Anthony Michael Hall was in Creep Course. You know, Tales from the Crypt was one of those shows I remember watching, well, basically through the couch cushions as a kid. It was the thing I always loved about it was just the opening, where it was like going through the castle and all the creepy stuff, and then all to get the big reveal of the crypt keeper.
Tales from the Crypt.
I watched
that. That was all I remembered about the show, and that was enough for me.
Welcome, kitties. Bill Paxton was also in Terminator. So he was in the original Terminator. He was a friend of who's that D-bag that made Titanic? Cameron. He was a friend of Cameron's. So Cameron put him in Terminator 1 and then brought him back in Aliens. And obviously he was he was in Titanic too. So yeah, Paxton had been in a bunch of stuff.
And the thing is, he just keeps showing up on the show here, where we're getting all these like best of the 80s and 90s, and it's like, oh, here's Bill Paxton. It's getting to the point where we almost got to turn it into a drinking game.
He's the only person that has ever been taken out in a movie by the Terminator, the Predator, and an alien. So he got taken out in Terminator 1 by Arnold Schwarzenegger. He got taken out by an alien in Aliens, and he got taken out by a Predator in Predator 2 on the subway. So 3 movies, 3 different franchises, got taken out by all 3.
Quite a claim to fame.
Oh yeah.
I'm almost waiting for a Ghost just to complete like the full like course of movie monsters.
Game over, man.
What more could
and he's in this. He's in this movie too.
And my God, let me pull this image here because he has the flattest of the flat tops. Like I'm pretty sure they had to measure this thing with a level.
Oh yeah. Oh, I guarantee you. Hopefully this does. Hold on. Does that work?
That does.
All right. Hopefully we don't get in trouble for that.
Oh, for the
yeah. Well, they are kind of sticklers about stuff like that nowadays. I should know. Last Friday. And we didn't even show one. It was just in the intro.
Oh, in that case, let's take that down. But my God, I had to stop and stare at his freaking flat top.
They did a good job of making him, like a suburban
bully.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a movie that kind of has a little bit of everything to it. I mean, we've got mutants, we've got cyborgs, we got an Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator stand-in. But I mean, there's a lot of things with this movie you couldn't get away with, like the things about like the underage kids drinking, and it's like something like that you just couldn't put into a modern movie. But the reality is that's exactly what a kid's gonna think to do. Like, we're gonna sneak into we're gonna go out and try to be adults. What do adults do? I don't know. They drink. They probably smoke cigars.
I mean, the interesting thing is in this, it's not them coming up with it, though, is it? It's her. Because a lot of the time, they're almost trying to get away from it.
Right, but it's also it's Lisa trying to be that stand-in for the audience, where as the audience watching would be thinking, if I was in this situation, what would I want to do? It's like, well, the first thing I want to do is I want to see your shower.
Yeah, that came from them.
And they're standing there in their underwear.
One's still in his shoes.
Yeah, one still hadn't taken his shoes off. He just got in.
I mean, it checks so many of the tropes, so many of the things you would expect out of a movie like this. You know, there's gonna be the big raging house party. We gotta have where it's like where kids who have no idea what a house party would mean. Lisa's here to be that subconscious for them, where she's gonna think, "Oh, I know, we gotta make sure we have this big lavish, full course meal for all these kids to come in and pick at, just to try to get some artificial popularity."
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm very sure that on both continents, if parents are away, there's parties.
Oh yeah. I can imagine that. That's a universal problem.
On all 7 continents.
Hey, you can't tell me that you never once were like, waving goodbye to your parents as they went on vacation or went on a trip, and you're like, bye now, bye. And as soon as they hit the corner, you're on the phone. They're gone. 50 million zillion people over at your house. People you never even seen before. Hey, we heard the ad and we flew in. Yeah.
And look, everyone's got those stories, but the things they want to do when the parents are away, and sometimes you gotta luck out that way. I don't think I was never really that bad. I was just kind of like, whatever. Let me go play GameCube. I'm gonna stay up late and get to the next level of Gauntlet.
Seriously, like mine were gone for 2 weeks, and the day they came back, I had like a Zulu war tribe dance going on in their living room. I was upstairs with a girl my own age, and she was trying to get her bra off, going, "How do I do this thing?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, just hurry up and take it off."
You obviously had a more exciting life than I did, but
I mean, that's the kind of shit we got into. Didn't matter whose parents were out of town. We coordinated.
Well, no, see, the thing for me was because I live with my grandparents. They were never out of town, so it didn't happen. The opportunity never arose.
Dude, we need to throw you a party. If you come down to Florida next year and we all get together, we got to throw IRONCASTER a party.
Look, that isn't to say I haven't had my share of parties. Like I've been with my fair share of puke times at the old porcelain throne after one too many whiskey cokes and shots after shots.
I don't get hangovers or none of that. I've never drank, like, I don't know. I've drank, but I've never gotten shit faced that bad.
Waking up to some hotel room, I don't know whose it is.
Now that's happened to me before. I've woken up and done the coyote thing where I'm like, "Oh my god, I'd rather gnaw her arm off than wake her up." I've done that. I've never gotten sick and thrown up or prayed to the porcelain god or any of that.
Look around like, why am I on the 5th floor?
I woke up on a cop's house. I woke up on the roof of a cop's house once.
Knowing as much as I know.
No, I didn't know.
So what was your guys' favorite part of the movie? Because there's a lot to take in with it. There's lots for me to kind of mull over from the little bits I remember. And I really like the mall culture stuff. Getting to see a little bit of that, because for me that was like my childhood. That early '90s was still when it was still around. There's elements of that I remember, and I can kind of look back on, even kind of going into the 2000s to a lesser extent.
I think I say for me, because I'm not into the that culture. I just like the idea of the using the computer to make up something, and then the more magic side of it. as you say, it's I like to see what she was going to do next. That was the best bit of it for me. It's like, what else can she do? What else is going to be done? Maybe, what she does to the brother towards the end was, it was getting silly by then, but I liked that.
Which really just went to show you just how crazy the powers could be, and the potential that's there with that.
Mm.
Which really lent itself to the idea of turning this into a TV show. And I think what Disney did it, or ABC.
I think it was ABC.
Was it more serious or more wacky?
Oh, it was very wacky. Like, this week, the boys get turned into girls. They get to see what life is like as girls. Next week, one of them's getting turned into like a Geppetto puppet.
Right. Yeah. No, that sounds like a fun series.
It turned out it was 5 seasons, by the way.
Yeah, man, I had no idea it went on for that long. It's still better than Alien Earth, huh?
Let's see. So, for example, here is Wyatt wishes that he had a close-knit, loving family and winds up in the mafia.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa is possessed by the spirit of a computer demon trying to escape cyberspace and take over the world.
Didn't we do that in Buffy as well?
Yes. Rumor has it the same thing happened to Kamala Harris in California. Sorry, we shouldn't be getting political on this show.
No, if we want to do that, we can talk about the recent YouTube news, but that is neither here nor there. So, what of all the things that kind of popped up in this movie, like, I was surprised to see the guy from The Hills Have Eyes pop up.
Oh yeah, the biker.
Yeah,
the Mad Max guy. Yeah. Who named him? Someone named him. Oh yeah, Slasher Fred. Slasher Fred. So the movie came out the same year as Mad Max 3, and it has Vernon Wells as this mean biker dude.
Did this come? Did The Hills Have Eyes come first?
Pretty sure it did.
I gotta look this up. Oh yeah, 77. Yeah, that came first.
This was a direct thing for Mad Max because the scene at the end is very Mad Max, and they're dressed like they were in Mad Max. And Mad Max 3 is coming out that year, so why not? Why not play off of that?
Especially if it's kind of seeded into the culture, you dropping these little nuggets. Like, they didn't just put it in the Terminator for no reason. It was like, no, because this stuff was popular. It's like, well, what could be the scariest things that the boys could have to stand up to in order to prove themselves at this party in front of all their peers? It's like, I don't know, a biker and a cyborg.
Yeah.
Trying to look and see if there's anything else. Like, no, but I guess like Kelly LeBrock, who played Lisa, by the way, is absolutely gorgeous in this movie. By the way,
yes, that was a big thing for the boys back then. This is my reason to go and see it, is because this chick in her underwear that looks like kind of like Ripley off of Alien, but hotter.
Standing there in the doorway, the smoky purple light behind her, just making her glow like a goddess.
I've seen that as a meme multiple times. I recognize that image even though I hadn't seen it. So,
in a lot of ways, it feels almost ripe and primed for people just going to come up with the dumbest head swaps. Where like you could probably do that, and then you slowly pan up and like it's Sloth's face. trying to think. Because I guess that really should be a question. I mean, what is it about these movies that you guys think makes them stand out so well? Like, what made them? What gave them that magic?
I grew up watching this movie. So I am the perfect candidate for the rose tinted glasses and the this movie's great. Don't talk shit about it. There are reasons why. But I grew up watching this movie and really enjoying this movie. So would I get defensive about it? I'm sure I probably would. But just look who's in it and look where they're going to go. And I know with Wyatt, I had seen him in Vacation before. So I was really, really good about like, oh, this person was in this movie, especially when I was a kid. I used to always notice that. Oh, that's Rusty from Vacation. This is this person. So, seeing a lot of the people that are in this movie and knowing, Robert Downey Jr. again, this is the first movie I ever saw him in. That's always going to be like, oh, well, there's all these reasons to go back and watch this again, and a whole bunch of reasons, no reasons not to.
No, it's kind of the perfect little movie to throw on just to pass an afternoon. It's fairly harmless, fairly innocuous. It sort of takes you back to that time. You kind of thinking it back to like what would teenage boys dream of, and in that way, it perfectly kind of encapsulates that idea without the modern idea, without modern technology, and it's still in this age where computers in a lot of ways are a magic all their own.
You could have just said, no candle wax on the nipples or witchcraft or anything like that. Just a couple hundred kids running around in their underwear acting like complete animals. Direct quote from the movie. Because, yeah.
I mean, for me, a lot of these 80s films just have something that the modern ones don't. And I think it comes down to, you can see they were making the best movie that they could, and they were there for it, and they were enjoying it, and they were coming up with new ideas and fun ideas, and what can we do, and how do we amaze the audience, and while still doing things that resonate with people, and hit that sort of pop culture zeitgeist. But they just don't do that now. It's now very dead, flat. There's no soul to it. Whereas these movies are not always technically as good, but there's life in them.
Well, I think you did hit it on the head there, because I think the issue is there's no movies about teenagers being teenagers, about that awkwardness of adolescence, of trying to learn what it means, what you're going to be here in a couple years, of where they're in a lot of ways written. A lot of movies nowadays will be written as adults trying to pretend to be teenagers. This is written from the teenage perspective. This is written by someone who remembers what that was like.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And it's kind of sad, because that is an entire generation of moviegoers, an entire multiple generations of kids that have grown up and know all this awkwardness of like, well, am I going to reach out? Am I talk to her? Like, what if she says no? What if she hates me? It's like, no. When all of that is there, it is real. And it's a shame that has been a lost art.
Yeah, but I don't anything. It's not allowed to be imperfect either these days. People aren't. You can't say the wrong thing, because it'll be on social media, and it'll go around everywhere and everything like this. So that culture can't exist. People don't feel they can go out and just be stupid, because you don't know where it'll end up tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, imagine something like this happening today and it getting out what these two did. Imagine, I mean, their lives are over. If it's not, one side, it's going to be another side that says, how dare you do anything like this? And that is coming. Just wait until the first like robot chicks start running around, and you can, like I said earlier, you can basically order the girl you want. Wait till that comes out, and people start talking about that. People start having opinions about that. It's going to go nuts.
Well, the problem is you can't sit down and have adult conversations in the writers' room when everyone is going to be a potential Karen and going to rat you out and you're going to lose your job. Everyone is going into these movies nowadays all tense and unable to let that natural creative element persist. I mean, we remember what happened with Star Trek.
Well, there is no more Star Trek.
Yeah, I don't know what Star Trek you speak of. Star Trek ended after Enterprise. There's nothing after that.
Yep.
But I mean, that's it. But that's the problem. And so now there's nothing's able to do quite like what these movies could before. And so now it's no wonder why no one wants to go and see what they're putting out, because it's all just purely this propaganda to prop up a this or that opinion nowadays that has to be approved by the general consensus. There's no brutal honesty when everyone has to hold up this facade.
Yeah, it's true. The only things I want to go and see these days tend to be animated.
Or re-releases.
True. Yep.
Pops had that clip of Jackie Gleason in his intro. I'm gonna go see Back to the Future, the first one, in IMAX here in the next couple of weeks. So, that's one of the things this year I'm really looking forward to. I should be looking forward to at least like a dozen movies this year, and it's just not. It's not there.
I'm looking ahead and I'm thinking maybe Tron.
Oh no, Tron's dead. Tron's not even going to be in Tron. Tron didn't come back for Tron. They didn't get Tron to come back and be in the movie. So yeah, no, I already see that.
Well, if anything, it'd be watching Tron for Pops, and that's literally the only reason.
I don't know if I'd watch Tron 3 for Pops.
I watched the original. That's fine.
Yeah, I'll watch Legend or the Tron Legacy. I'll watch that.
I didn't like Legacy.
It's not the best movie, but I guarantee you it's going to be better than what they come out with next.
Oh yeah, I'm not really interested in watching any more after that, and knowing that they didn't ask Bruce Boxleitner to come back, even as a cameo. Well, I don't know where you're going, but you're going without me.
Yep.
Actually, I stand corrected. There is at least one movie coming out this year I'm looking forward to.
What's that?
Deathstalker.
That's a you movie.
I haven't heard of that one.
Oh, it was an old 80s sword and sorcery movie that is getting like a fourth movie like 30 years after the last movie.
Oh, okay. I might have to find the first one then.
You could find it so readily available on many of these free streamers like Tubi or Pluto TV or probably even straight up YouTube. But then again, with being another country, it might be on some other service over there altogether.
Yeah, they're always different.
Well, Deathstalker, yes. Yeah, it's kind of a shame because this would be a prime time of year to be getting horror movies left, right, and center, and it's like I don't really see anything that's getting a little too exciting there for me. Otherwise,
Although the horror movies seem to be getting more, doing better than other types of movies at the moment, even if they're not sort of ones you're running out to see. If you watch some of the box office things, just in general, horror seems to be doing better.
well, I mean, the big benefit is they can do it for dirt cheap,
Yeah.
and they tend to be profitable before it's even hit theaters.
Yeah, I think they're got a little bit more freedom as well because they're not box office blockbusters.
No, Well, although truth be told, I think the biggest things we can look forward to is going to be all the movies we're going to be looking at and talk about here on Talk Hard. I mean, looking up
Mhm.
coming in the next couple weeks, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. We've got Death Race 2000, and that's us getting into the Halloween spirit with like Scooby Doo, Bram Stoker's Dracula, and one of my favorites, Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh no.
Hey, no, don't worry, Loki. Alan Tudyk's in it. Let's see how long this awkward silence can last.
I know. I don't know what else to say about the film because, as I say, I didn't have the nostalgia, so it didn't hit the same way for me as it clearly did for you guys. So although I enjoyed it, it will never be a favourite. It's probably not going to be the one that I stick on to fill in the background, But I was always more of a sci-fi and fantasy person than a coming of age type person. I didn't watch the stuff for girls. I was watching Star Wars. so I probably didn't. I didn't watch a load of those ones, I imagine.
We gotta introduce Luis to Gator.
So then, let me ask you then. This is something I have been trying to push a bit more on the show. What was your favorite moment, and what was your least favorite moments in the film?
So favorite moments was the magic side of things, the effects. Even though they were outdated, I love seeing how they did things. I love the old effects. Anything that's not like modern bubble CGI type stuff. Least favourite, probably some of the more male orientated jokes. Where I'm never offended. Right? That's not. It doesn't bother me. It's all fine. But there's a few things where I end up rolling my eyes.
Like, for example, the bar scene where you have these obvious kids here trying to talk and be like the adults when one of them is clearly wasted beyond recognition.
More the teen stuff, the awkward bits with the girls and the I just it doesn't. It's just not my thing. I guess it wasn't. There's nothing wrong with it. It just wasn't my thing.
But at least we got those little fun hacking scenes of like some government facility and all the lights are going on, and we get to summon an ICBM.
And there was some early CGI in this too.
What about you, Loki? What was your favorite? What was your least favorite?
Oh, Lisa's definitely Lisa. I don't even have a license, Lisa. Lisa's definitely my favorite part of this movie. Obviously, Chet maybe a runner-up because what a douchebag brother. That gets his in the end. But Bill Paxton did such a good job as Chet, dude. You totally believe this is just this, butthole older brother that's been extorting and picking on his younger brother for forever. His reaction to his grandparents being frozen in the closet. Hi, Nanny. Hi, Pappy.
Did they let them out?
At the end, yeah.
I remember they've put everything back the way it was, but I don't remember seeing the grandparents after.
Yeah.
Maybe I just missed that.
When Lisa left, they fixed the grandparents.
Because I think I'm in the same boat with you there, Luis. Because I sort of blunk and missed the grandparents getting taken out of the closet.
Maybe it's a deleted scene I'm thinking of.
Yeah, look this up now.
What happened to the grandparents?
I don't think they said if the other guy's dad ever remembered him either. I don't know how deeply she messed with his brain.
Yeah, whammied him.
Mhm.
One thing I will say with the TV show that came about, and it's in part because of how great Bill Paxton was in this movie. That character of Chet became such a big element of the show, where in so many ways, a lot of the hijinks stuff that happened all involved his character getting screwed with in one way or another.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Uh, but as as actually Loki, you didn't answer. What was your least favorite part of the movie? If you got to pick,
Least favorite part. I don't know. It's the fact that it's a John Hughes. um, I don't know. I wouldn't even realize that until later. You know, when I got older and started figuring out, oh, this person does this person does that. These are the people that make the movies. I was just going off of, I don't know. Gary and Wyatt are good. Bill Paxton is good. Maybe the girls, not Lisa, but the other two. Maybe I don't know. Better girls. The Robert Downey Jr. and his buddy are perfect. Absolutely freaking perfect. I
if
know his buddy didn't go on to do, you know, almost anything. He's been in a couple of things. I think his most successful thing was being the villain in Wing Commander 4, The Price of Freedom. So the, the list of accolades there are definitely not what Robert Downey Jr. would go on to do. But I don't know. There's nothing really I would say is bad or worse. The worst part of it, it's all kind of good to me.
if I had to pick something, and I think it is a great overall movie. I think the weakest bit, the weakest joke, is where Gary's dad is kind of for the basically the entire movie. After for all we keep getting those throwbacks to him, where he's like he doesn't remember his own son. It's like I feel like that was something that could have been reworked a little bit better. We could have built on that more, or there's something that there they could have done more with that idea. But it's kind of a little throw-in joke that I feel like they could have done more with.
Well, did
And
she never said, you know, she never like whammied him and said you're not going to remember anything about your son. It's just that he just kind of was that him or was that a whammy? You know, did he just disown him and be like, I'm never going to recognize him as family or my son ever again after bringing that lady into my home? Was that him or was that, did she whammy his ass?
I guess it'd be more so that he's supposed to be this father who barely pays attention to his own kids, so that it's easy for him to just forget he even had a son. But even then,
It's
it's
even
like
better.
I feel like they could have done a little bit more with that. Maybe we could have gotten an extra scene early in the movie where like he sort of is more forgetful of his own son being there.
I mean, I had the impression she'd done it to him, but it whatever she did, obviously, it had more effect on him than the mother. So yeah, maybe it was him sort of blocking it, the whole experience out.
Gary, your son, Gary, you know Gary. I don't know what the hell
Ooh.
you're talking about.
Which in and of itself is a funny thing to put in. But again, this is me trying to nitpick and find something to complain about with this movie, because it is an overall rock solid movie. Like there's no complaints to be had with weird science. Like even with a lot of other 80s like kind of teenage oriented movies, the teenage movie, there's stuff that just doesn't hold up well to this day. But this, frankly, it I'm not there's nothing that really set off flags for me in this movie. This is just an overall great movie. This is one of those ones that has held up itself. John Hughes is a master of the craft. Let's see. Project Champion says it's a gag with deeper implications that the story needed for the fun.
Yeah, you could have taken it somewhere if you were going to make a sequel or whatever.
Did he ever? Okay, so did he? They either one of them ever inquire where Gary was or Wyatt, where Wyatt was? No, it's Gary. Anyway, they never call him. They never call Gary's house to find out if Wyatt's there. So you never see them until that one part of the movie.
But also, but in a similar way, Wyatt's parents also never really call to check in and see how things are at either. So you never really get that played up with the parent angle more. It's really just ultimately about what are a couple of kids going to be doing while what's the worst hijinks a kid could get into while their parents are out of town.
Obviously, the parents don't have any imagination.
I mean, we are talking about Gen X parents too. And I mean, Gen X parents pretty much was like, "Oh, go out and play in the wild. Go ahead."
Yeah.
We're just gonna sit here and watch the TV. These are the boomer parents.
Yes. Yes.
But I suppose again, in a like 94-minute movie, that's the worst we could come up with. Like, yeah, this was a joke that didn't quite work. That they could have done more with, but it was one of the things you could easily see. Yeah, they had to cut something from somewhere, and so this is just one little loose thread that is left behind.
Yeah. Do you think what they were trying to do was funny? I mean, besides that,
I
suppose
sort of.
No, I in a way I do think it does work appropriately because it is the parents who just kind of like who would basically say just come out, come back home when the lights are on, and then just stay out of my way.
no, I mean the movie, the rest of the comedy in this movie. Do you think it like lands, or do you think it has the same problem as the scene with the dad?
I thought the scene with the dad did land. It's just that it went on and didn't go anywhere. But sorry, IRONCASTER.
Yeah, there was no follow up where he like went home and what's up, boy, and acted like everything was normal.
Right. And overall, I'd say the comedy lands. I mean, the only things you could really say that might not work is sort of the mall culture of the time, where it might seem like in a lot of ways just a foreign concept to kids nowadays. In fact, that's something I would be kind of curious to get the perspective of. How would young adults feel looking at this movie? Because I myself had a different perspective than LOKI did. For me, it was the TV shows. There was a bit of a different angle. The internet was much more prevalent in my life than then. So I'd be curious to see how kids today would feel about this movie.
And getting on the internet then, that was like, I mean, parsing nuclear launch codes. It's not like you just, got on your computer, hit the Google app, and oh look, I'm in Google, I'm on the internet. No, there was there were complications constantly. And if you go back far enough, I mean, what's war games where you actually had to put your phone on the modem, like your phone had to sit physically on the modem back in the day. I remember that. That's what pretty much they're dealing with at the time that this movie was made. It's not like we had AOL. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, getting the internet and things was Buffy era. When you see sort of Willow first getting internet and then getting online, and that was my era of moving into the internet. So everything else before that was like you see it in movies, but it was pretty much we didn't have it over here. I think corporations had it with the phone, and that we didn't have it.
I mean, for me, it's even more different because for me, it was growing up in getting into those teenage years, the dial-up era. Having the phone line hogged up just by me being online and getting told, "Man, get off the phone. I want to call someone up in upstate."
You almost doxed yourself there, brother.
I did. That's how real it is. I'm like, oh, I'm about to throw my name out. Oops.
Okay, your mother needs to make a phone call. I remember those days. All right.
Yeah, you guys don't get it. There's a chat room waiting for me.
But I've got to wait another 3 hours to download a 2 megabyte patch for Star Wars Jedi Outcast.
I would stay up and watch movies with my granddad so that I could plug into the phone line, because he wouldn't care what was on. So late night movies and like action films and stuff, watching that while I'm waiting for to dial up to download something.
Oh my god, I remember those days. Waiting on some silly video to download, and then just while this entire like 9 minute, like 5 or 9 minute video is downloading, you have to keep going back to the very start. You can get like 2 or 3 seconds at a time.
Yeah.
Then you gotta
You
stop.
couldn't. They had like versus lobbies and PvP lobbies and stuff back then. But video game wise, it was LAN parties. You weren't really playing online unless you were playing an LAN party. You weren't really playing versus because there were just so many hiccups and problems, and you could never keep up. And there was always something wrong with it. Even when you were playing Doom with more than one person, it could be a pain in the butt. So getting to, just doing an LAM party is a totally different experience back then than jumping on and playing with your friends now.
Command and Conquer, good times.
Yeah, dude. Me and a buddy like linked PlayStation 1s so that we could play that against each other on 2 different TVs. That's what you had to do to play multiplayer back then. That's why you didn't have like all kinds of add-ons and DLC and all that kinds of crap because it just didn't work back then.
Yeah, Slasher Fred, I miss the noise because I think there's an element of excitement of just hearing that when you're going on to find out if you've got anything.
I should turn it in my ringtone.
Oh, Project Cambrian with me, it was Halo. Halo was the last like LAN parties I ever did. Was for Halo.
So, to I guess kind of in conclusion, or I'll wrap things up. Let's go around, give our final scores for this movie. For myself, it's gonna be a high score. This was a nice little pleasant revisit that's now got me wanting to go and look up a couple episodes of the animated of the TV show, just because it's bringing it back to a little bit to some nostalgic times, to both to a time in which I wasn't alive for, but also for a little bit of my own youth. I'm gonna give it a solid 9. This is a movie that I strongly recommend, but also I do want to. I want to get that younger reception to this movie. Like, how well does it hold up for someone now?
Cool. I'm right there with you, man. I'd probably give it a 9 as well. It's fun. There's not any nudity except I think for one scene where the chick playing the piano gets her clothes ripped off. Which I'm surprised is even in that. Yeah, I'm surprised it's even in the movie because I mean they had ample opportunities to do that before. Maybe they got away with it because they looked at it like, oh well, she gets sucked out the chimney. It's art. Who knows? You know why they let them do that? They didn't let them do anything else, or if they even wanted to do anything else. There's not a lot of nudity. There's not a lot of harsh language. Yeah, there's some some zingers, but it's not like they're f bombing every other word like RoboCop, or RoboCop 2. There's like 180 f bombs in one movie. so that you didn't get a lot of violence. Was there some violence? Yes, but it was all magically oodly violence, not real violence. You had some car chases. It kind of has this all around, just like, okay, here's what the 80s were like, and this was middle America in the 80s. And if you lived through it, you were lucky. If you didn't, maybe you will get it, maybe you won't. But yeah, I'll give it a 9.
I think it's got to be lower for me, but it's not so much a insult to the movie as a this on the scale of things that I really love from that era. It's a lot lower, and I think that's because, as I say, I don't have the nostalgia for it, and I did find it more dated than some of the other stuff that I've watched. So it's probably more around a 6 for me. And yes, I have seen Batteries Not Included, Project Cambrian. Of course I have. It's sci-fi.
So, what was that final score?
6.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't blame her for that either. Like I said, I look at this movie through rose-tinted glasses. I grew up watching this movie. There's a reason. There are reasons why I like it, why I like watching it, and it has everything to do with Lisa's accent. So,
which again isn't going to have much of an effect on me.
Exactly.
But I think in conclusion, yeah, that is Weird Science for us. It's a worthwhile little 80s slice of life out of the 80s. That teenage comedy has a little bit of everything for everyone in a lot of ways. Not quite, though maybe not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, we put it to a rest. So, let's see. Coming up on the show, as I mentioned earlier, we've got about one or two more movies here before we get into the swing of Halloween.
Pops will be back.
So, in other words, the show will actually run more smoothly.
Oh no, you did a great job, and this is great practice for you. For dude, you're great. You did great.
Thank you. I see. I think it's better just to put myself down.
No.
I didn't even know you were going to be too polite.
You didn't even know you were going to be doing this today. You showed up, and I was like, "Hey, you're in charge. I'll run the back, but you're in charge of the show."
Let's see. Louise, do we happen to have any other movies coming up with you this year? Because although I have a list of movies coming up, I don't know which ones you might be queued up for.
I haven't planned any at the moment, so no. It depends. I guess it depends what else you're doing. I don't think I've not for the next few weeks anyway.
Well, you're always welcome back. I know Pops feels that way, and I know Ironcaster. He can talk for himself, but I'm pretty sure Ironcaster feels that way too.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to have you back here every week if you wanted to.
And I'm sure Squeeka would like some female rationale compared to us knucklehead males.
So coming up next week, as I mentioned, we are delving into the Adventures of Baron Munchausen, which it's one I came across, and it's an out of this world movie where seemingly everything and anything is possible and impossible at the same time.
Nice.
But Loki, my friend, what do you have coming up this week?
Oh, we've actually got 2 shows tomorrow, which is like never. I don't think I've ever done that. We're going to talk about Alien Earth and the end of Alien Derpy Derp and the Wendy saga, which is Derp. And then at noon, I'm going to have YouTube talk. So we'll actually have 2 shows tomorrow. We'll have the 8 a.m., which is we're going to get into Alien, and finish that off. We are very excited to be done with that. That way next week we can just do what we want. We're not locked into this dumb show that Disney's come out with. That's an absolute waste of time and horrible. Thank you, Zeropium, for getting us involved in this. And then we're going to do YouTube talk because, YouTube came out and finally admitted it. Yeah, under Biden, we limited your voice, limited your access, got rid of your accounts, singled you out, targeted you for your political ideology. And we did it because the Biden administration told us to. So what's going to happen to Google now? What's in the future? What's in the cards? They may have admitted they were complicit in the illegal activity, but what's going to happen? Let's talk about it tomorrow, noon, YouTube talk.
Folks, be sure not to miss it because Loki's Mornings of Mischief is always worth your time. Whether at morning, noon, or night.
Whether it's called Loki's Mornings of Mischief or just Stone Cold Loki, whatever anybody wants to call it, they can call it that. I don't care.
Luis, what about you? What's coming up for you? Where can the folks find you out there?
I've not got anything planned on YouTube at the moment. I just pop up and watch a few shows whenever I can. So, but I'm usually around.
You're always there lurking in the background somewhere, just kind of, though you may not be commenting, you're always listening.
It sounds creepy.
It does.
It sounds creepy, dude. Don't make her sound creepy.
It's passion. There's nothing wrong with having passion.
Oh, yeah, there is when it shows up at your house 4 a.m. in the morning, unannounced. You had no idea she was coming. Passion could be a problem.
He's not talking about me, by the way.
No, I'm not talking about her.
I have no idea what you're talking about. But as for myself, Monday nights we do the Mech Pit Chat. We talk about big robots and a little bit of other pop culture stuff. Last night we were talking a little bit about some of the upcoming anime for this fall season, and including something coming from Disney that didn't look downright terrible, but it's got its audience. I mean, on top of that, I'm all over the internet, so follow me on Twitter at the IRONCASTER to find out where I'll be, and we'll make a rock and roll. So, folks, I think with that, we're going to call to a close for tonight. So, be sure to be good to yourselves, be true, talk hard, and take care.
Bob Ross, you'll never see me tripping. Got the vision, I don't even need assistance. Bob Ross, all I do is chill.